And back. More Spirit of Justice. It's the trial, and it's time to get Trucy off the hook. So what's interesting about this trial is there's only 1 day of investigation, and we did that phase, so now it's all trial going forward. So, good luck trying to go through anything else other than the trial right now, because after this we go back to Kurain and more of that Phoenix Wright stuff. So this is what Apollo gets for a trial for now. Let's see what happens with the next chapter. I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Is Apollo okay? He's been muttering to himself all morning. He's been like this since yesterday. Guess the pressure of today's trial is getting to him. Poor Polly. He's really tearing himself up all over this. Get it together! Athena, when did you get here? Try to relax a little bit, will ya? You're getting yourself too worked up. Yeah, but I'm alright. I'm fine. You know, I did a little digging on this Nahyuta Sadmati guy. He's apparently not your run-of-the-mill prosecutor. Oh yeah? What'd you find out? Well, they say he wields an incredible power to accurately read a trial's karma and its ultimate fate. What is that supposed to mean? I don't know all the details, but apparently he can foresee how the arguments will go and even lead his opposition. So the defense basically ends up going in whatever direction he has in his head. Man, this isn't going to be a cakewalk if that's true. Emma did say she talked to him for us, though. Here's hoping that that went well. In any case, it looks like I'm going to have to keep us on our he's going to keep us on our toes. Not really. That's why I know you're ready, and I know I can leave Trucy and the office to you. Mr. Wright is putting his faith in me. I can't let him down now. I'm fine. Here he goes again. It's almost like he's chanting a prayer. I'm fine. I'm Apollo Justice and I'm fine! If you say so. Trial will start momentarily. If the defense ready? We're fine! Ugh. Trucy's fate and the fate of the agency rests on this trial. This is it, Justice. If there was ever a time to shine, it's now. He's in his own head. Yay! It's normal Judge. He's back. Court is now in session for the trial of Trucy Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor. And the prosecution? Prosecutor Sadmati? 1,000 pardons. It was rude of me to keep you waiting. I was praying for the victim. Oh, praying? Yes, I see. You're a Kurainist monk, correct? Yes, that is correct. But I am but a lonely monk for the kingdom of Kurain. I beg in advance for the forgiveness and kind patience of everyone here in this court. I am unfamiliar with the proceedings of this country, and may make many blunders. He seems like a gentle-mannered soul, doesn't he? I wonder if Emma had a chance to talk with him. Now then, Prosecutor Sadmati, your opening statement, if you would. Certainly. In the name of the Holy Mother, I vow to guide the victim's soul to a land of eternal peace, known as the Twilight Realm. Now, let the last rites of this victim begin. Nahyuta Sadmati really has been making a name for himself, but the nickname, Last Rites Prosecutor, I wonder how that'll come into play. The incident took place in the middle of a spectacular magic show. The accused performed a magic trick in which he thrust a sword into a coffin. A coffin from which the body of the victim then spilled out, dead from a fatal stabbing. The victim's name was Man of Mystery, otherwise known as the Great Mr. Rias. His blood was found on the sword that was used during the magic trick. So his death was just an unfortunate accident? It is only natural for one to assume as such. However, it was no mere accident, but rather a homicide. The prosecution's position is thus, that this was a murder made to look like an accident. I see, and you believe this crime was committed by the defendant? After a thorough consideration of all possible scenarios, I, unfortunately, had no other choice but to concede as much. So that's how it's gonna be, huh? I guess Emma couldn't convince him after all. Very well. Let us hear from the defense. Naturally, we maintain the defendant is innocent. If the defense wouldn't mind, could you please explain your reasoning? My reasoning? Well, I would have to say that my main reason is because I believe in the defendant. I see. So you find it difficult to come up with anything more concrete than that, do you? A fine demonstration of the fact that you are indeed a lawyer of putrid mind. So that is really Nahyuta's problem, is this is his whole shtick. He's not very threatening. He doesn't really have much to say other than, you're an unclean soul, and he's just kind of there. Not even in the Clavier, I'm helpful kind of way, it's more the... So, going from Blackwell to this, you can see why people were just kind of... Putrid mind? Prosecutor Sadmati? Excuse me... How many times do you think they had to get Matt Mercer to do that? If you don't mind me asking, what was that you were just chanting? A sutra of the Holy Mother that guides those of tainted soul towards enlightenment. It's a Kurainist incantation to awaken the foolish from their fruitless slumber. Fitting for a lawyer who indulges in such fancy as the innocence of the accused. I see. So basically you're asking the defense to get real? Allow me these few words, defense. It is my duty as a monk to punish sinners and to guide victim souls to the Twilight Realm. Should you sow repentance and admit to the accused's guilt now, no harm will come to you. But should you interfere with my sacred last rites for the victim, then I shall cast you down into the pit of hell, along with Trucy, right? Wait just a minute. Putrid? Pit of hell? Is that anything to address someone in a court of law? Prosecutor Sadmati, that may be the way you conduct trials in Kurain, but I would appreciate if you would refrain from such charged language here. Your Honor, that was but a Kurainist sermon for those who have strayed from the path. Harsh words are often necessary to admonish contemptible deviants who cannot see reason. I see. I didn't realize. I guess you really do hate defense attorneys in Kurain, huh? Even still, that was way over the top for verbal abuse. The trial's just begun. Well, defense, I suppose the way a prosecutor does things varies by country. Why don't we look at this as a cross-cultural exchange and try to be open-minded? What? Bailiff, please bring in the first witness. Uh-oh. 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 I thought she said she said goodbye to those. Man, is she gonna get through a bag in like 20 seconds? Detective Skye, the courtroom is no place for gorging yourself. What's wrong with having a little snack? Girl's gotta eat right. She seems stressed. Detective Skye, your testimony, please. Yeah, about that. I just want to state for the record that I believe Trucy Wright is innocent. I'm sorry. Detective Skye, this path you seek to follow is misguided. Giving the wrongdoer false hope will only deepen her despair in the end. But let it go and move on, and get ready to hear that all the fucking time. Acts which go against your duty will earn you divine punishment from the Holy Mother. Eat these more. Oh! Fine. I don't know about this whole divine part, but I get that punishment bit loud and clear. I guess Emma got assigned tons of paperwork for sticking up for Trucy. She and Prosecutor Sadmati don't seem to get along very well, do they? Shall we continue? The prosecution contends that the accused had a clear motive. The evidence, if you would. All right. Please take a look at this poster. It's a Troop Grummery poster from 13 years ago. Is it just me, or is it a little different from the one that was in Miss Wright's dressing room? This is a revised version of the poster. This one says cancel. That's right. Mr. Rias left the troop after the first version of the poster was printed. Take a look at his right forearm, near his elbow. You see that big scar? He apparently got that when he made a mistake during a magic trick. Ouch. It's quite a scar. Because of the accident, Magnifique Gramarye concluded Mr. Rias was too unskilled. Just before the show was to open, Magnifique abandoned or announced that Mr. Rias wouldn't be appearing. But in defiance of his decisions, Mr. Rias tried to go on stage anyway. This, in turn, caused him to oust Mr. Rias from the troupe on the spot. He kicked Mr. Rias out? That seems rather extreme. Did he really have to go that far? When it comes to magic, Troupe Gramarye was so passionate. Or should I say, extreme about it that it caused problems from time to time. They even caused this court a mountain of trouble with their extreme antics. And now the troupe's successor has committed a murder. It seems the troupe's rare talent was inherited by the right person after all. A putrid talent for criminality. You sound rather extreme yourself, prosecutor. Criminals with impure souls do not deserve sympathy, Your Honor. Ahem, as I was saying, after his expulsion, Mr. Rias apparently went on to hold a grudge against the troupe. He would tell those close to him, I'll get my revenge on Troupe Gramarye someday. Revenge, huh? That certainly sounds antagonistic. And then his chance for revenge finally came. If you would be so kind, Detective Skye. I guess I don't have a choice, do I? The victim planned to get his revenge on True Gremory during Trucy's magic show. Mr. Rias was first going to steal the notebook from the defendant. He then intended to reveal the secrets behind their magic tricks during the show. That was the victim's plan for revenge, and while he did in fact steal the notebook, the defendant murdered him before he had a chance to reveal the secrets. By the time the accused had discovered the notebook's theft, it was too late. Her only option was to kill Mr. Rias and make it look like an accident.
Objection!
That's nothing but conjecture! The victim's assistant, Bonnie DeFemme, gave the police a statement. She testified that before the start of the show, Mr. Rias said, "I'm going to reveal all of True Gremory's secrets on stage." What? Well, this isn't exactly a great starting point for a rebuttal, is it? You're telling me. Allow me to give you one piece of advice, Defense. And what's that? Can I get a butterfly? Let it go and move on. That's 2. Let's make a drinking game out of that. We'll probably get plastered in the next 10 minutes. Actually, no, don't do that. Drinking is bad for you. Excuse me? Helping the sinner will only sully your own soul. One possessed of an unclean soul will burn in the flames of hell, and then be ever burdened with that sin in the next life. But I don't believe in that sort of thing. Besides, I have no intention of giving up. Oh, Holy Mother, grant me the strength to deal with this putrid lawyer. All actions have consequences, and yours will surely earn you the honor of being a mere stink bug at best in your next life. A stink bug? Now then, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination. Okay, so press the 5th statement, get some stuff, and then fingerprinting results. Yay! Alright. 1, 2. I wonder if I can... I have an idea, 1 second. Titles are on. What do you mean wait time? Adjust the length of wait time displayed in autoplay now. Okay, I guess... I can't make this go faster. No. Enable the skipping of unread text. Oh, shit. No.
Hold it!
I'm sorry, but what exactly is the basis for claiming it's murder? Beats me? What? The basis is beats me? You'll have to ask Prosecutor Sadmati over there, because he hasn't told me his reasoning either. Detective Skye, your feeding of information to the defense has not gone unnoticed in my eyes. No. The bad karma of acts which go against your duty will impinge upon you in your next life. But even before that, it may impinge upon your job in the form of a transfer. Ow! Please don't get me kicked out of the forensics unit! Anything but that! Poor Emma. She's really been risking everything. Well, Prosecutor Sadmati, what are your grounds for claiming homicide? It was the luminous tape on the understage passage. I realized it had been moved. Moved so Mr. Rias would climb up into the downstage coffin by mistake. What? Mr. Rias, who was waiting in the understage passage, was supposed to have used the upstage ladder, shown here on the left. He was to climb up into the coffin that had been set up in the backstage area, after being turned into a stuffed dragon during Act 1. Mr. Rias was supposed to come back to life and emerge from the coffin, but the luminous tape had been moved to mark the downstage ladder. So the victim climbed up into the coffin on stage by mistake. The very same coffin the accused thrust her sword into. And you have proof that it was my client who moved the tape? Well, of course. Detective Skye? Huh? Oh! That's right. I identified the defendant's fingerprints on the luminous tape. You what? He actually had proof? Well, defense, are you finally ready to let it go and move on? No! Shut up! Absolutely not! And stop saying that! It's getting annoying! Please add this information of the prints on your testimony.
Objection!
I'm sorry, Detective, but there's a flaw in your testimony. Really? The prosecution's claiming that Miss Wright moved the understage tape during the show in order to guide the victim into the coffin. But it doesn't make any sense that she would leave prints in the tape at that time. It doesn't. Please consider the fingerprinting results on the main coffin, which shows that not one of my client's fingerprints was found on or in it. That's true. We didn't find any of her prints on the coffin. Wait, huh? I think you realize what the flaw in your testimony... But Sadmai's is going to say she was wearing gloves. Claiming Miss Wright left prints on the tape during the show is inconsistent with fact. Because she was wearing gloves during the show. Wait, he brought that up? Oh! She must have left the prints sometime before the show started. In other words, her prints do not prove that she moved the tape to mislead the victim. The prosecution's investigation is insufficient. Oh my! But on a personal level, I'm kind of happy. Well, Prosecutor Sadmati, if the defense's argument is true, then you have no evidence the defendant moved the tape to deceive the victim. I see. Apparently the defense is more intelligent than I thought. More than a stink bug, at any rate. Come on, at least bump me up to at least a stag beetle. Would that really be any better? Of course, way better. Stag beetles are cool, with those huge mandibles of theirs. If the defense wishes to be promoted to stag beetle, then answer me this question. Alright, shoot. Even with no evidence that the accused moved the tape to misguide the victim, the victim still climbed the ladder using the tape as a guide, and entered the coffin on the stage. The accused then thrust her sword into the coffin with the victim in it. So what you're saying is the fact remains that the victim was stabbed to death. Precisely. However, this does drastically change one aspect of the case. If the accused did not lead the victim into the coffin on purpose, then it means the victim's death would have been accidental. If it was indeed an accident, the defense can argue it was involuntary manslaughter. I see. If it was involuntary manslaughter, they can plead extenuating circumstances. And the severity of the crime would be mitigated. Defense, if you believe the accused did not murder the victim, then do you argue it was an accident? This is it. An all-important question. The defense maintains that the defendant was entirely innocent. We believe it wasn't an accident, but murder. And what's more, we believe it was committed by a third party. A third party? As in the true culprit was someone else? Oh boy. That is quite a brazen claim to make, and one wholly without grounds. Your voice is as loud as your suit, and your mind echoes just as loudly in emptiness. Surely you were but a loud red pepper in your previous life. I've been demoted to a vegetable? Wow. I didn't know a person could be reincarnated as a non-sentient plant. In any case, I do have grounds to make this claim. Let us hear this reasoning of yours, then. Alright, but before I give it, there's one question we need to address. If the victim was killed by a third party, then the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin wasn't the cause of death. If that's the case, then how did we wind up with a dead body inside the coffin? A very good question. Let's hear your opinion, Mr. Justice. How did the victim's body wind up in the coffin? What if the victim was killed under the stage before put in the coffin? In other words, what if the victim was already dead in the coffin from the get-go? I see. In that case, the defendant's sword wouldn't have been the cause of death. How do you respond, Prosecutor Sadmati? That is the third time. The third time of what? What the heck is this?
Satorai Maomandomo Samashi de Tashi no Ketare Gaseo Soroka!
Ow! Ow! My head! Ow! What the hell do you think you're doing? Even the most merciful Holy Mother, or even the merciful Holy Mother loses patience if she is struck 3 times. Since you never learn, you needed to be punished. Why don't you let me worry about what I need and don't need? It is what you deserve for interfering with my sacred last rites for the victim. You are but a brainless lawyer chasing phantoms. You know nothing. Let this humble servant of the Holy Mother give you an edifying sermon. A sermon? Now? There is a passage in the sacred scriptures of Koreanism. A cornered frog will swallow even a snake. Huh? A cornered lawyer has unexpectedly struck back hard against the prosecution. Did I get that right? No, for I'm not done with my sermon. And yet the frog still dies, its belly bitten and torn from within. Just great. And in this case, you are that frog. What exactly is your point? Let us assume for a moment that the victim was killed under the stage. Who then had the opportunity to do so during the show? Let's see. The people in the show were Bonnie DeFam, the victim Mr. Rias, and Trucy Wright. Bonnie DeFam was on stage throughout the entire show, as easily confirmed by the footage of the show, which leaves us only one suspect, Trucy Wright. Now do you see? The accused killed Mr. Rias as he waited on standby in the understage passage, and then placed his dead body in the coffin above, thus making the murder look like an accident. Oh, great and holy, merciful Holy Mother, thus another putrid mind has been guided towards enlightenment. Ugh, I can't believe I swallowed this trick.
Objection!
Uh-oh. Big ol' smack. Sorry, but I have to raise an objection here. Athena, what are you... There's something I want to point out. And who might you be? You strike me as a mere child in countenance. I may be young, but I have an attorney's badge just the same. And you would contribute to this discussion in that capacity. I most certainly would. You just argued that the defendant killed the victim under the stage. Let me remind you that Miss Wright is a girl. Clearly. Surely you didn't raise an objection just to point out an obvious fact. Your Honor, please send for this little child's guardian to come take her home. I'm not done with my sermon! You don't need to talk like him, you know. Listen. The victim was killed in the understage passage, and his body would have had to have been hauled up to the stage, right? However, Miss Wright is a young girl, and a pretty petite one at that. She couldn't possibly have hefted that large body up and put it in the coffin. That's true, it does seem like it would be a rather difficult task. I don't think even I could do it. What do you think of that, prosecutor? Who's a child now? In my religion, the priestesses of Koreanism are revered as pillars of their beliefs. So I naturally hold nothing but deep respect for women. I also think highly of the female perspective. Says the man who called his fair maiden a little child. Who's a fair maiden? I agree your point is worth discussing. How, indeed, was the dead body raised up into the coffin? By the accused, Trucy Wright, that is. You're committed to pointing the finger at her no matter what, huh? Then you explain how it'd be possible. Of course. There was a way for even a small creature like her to raise the victim's body up. Wait, you really can't explain it? I foresaw that our arguments would come to this and have prepared a witness. Well, I admire your readiness. It is really not difficult when one can read the ultimate outcome of any trial. He couldn't have really predicted that things would turn out like this, could he? Pretty hard to believe. Excuse me, but can I step down now? I got snackoos to eat. I suppose you may. One moment, Detective Skye. I'm sorry for the way I handled all this. You did a fine job, Detective. Your testimony was invaluable. It was? Yes. You served well as a detective and did not allow your personal feelings to interfere. You overcame your conflicted emotions and performed your duty admirably. You will be rewarded for your fine work. Thank you. I hope we can work together in the future. She seems bewildered by that unexpected praise, as am I. I guess he's a pretty nice person, like they say, as long as you're not up against him. Now then, let us call the next witness. Bunny suit. Bunny suit. Yay, it's Bonnie! Witness, please state your name and occupation. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the court. It's very nice to meet all of you. I'm a lagomorphing illusionist from the land of fairy tales, Bonnie DeFemme. I can't wait to do some magic tricks for all of you. Please, witness. There will be a time and a place for all things, including magic. Oh, but would it be okay if I do a little, right? Come on, please. Look, everybody's waiting. That's my chance to shine. That is your second time. My second time doing what, sir? There will be no further warnings. You should know that from our preparatory meeting, correct? Is no one exempt from his rosary of suffering? May we have your testimony, witness? Once you recovered from your disappointment. Well, as a huge fan of Trucy's, I don't really want to testify against her. But I guess I have to, don't I? As a huge fan of Trucy's, huh? That's a weapon stick. Sure, you're a real fan, alright. Of destroying Trucy, you mean. Oof. I'm gonna get to the cross-examination and then keep going. I really can't believe Trucy killed Mr. Rias. I guess it's possible for a small girl to lift a dead body if she used a stage lift. Is it possible? Could she have? If she did use a stage lift, I think she could have used two. Wait a minute. She didn't bonk herself on the head. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I was on stage for the entire show, by the way. Wait, she caught her cane. Wait a minute. You were on stage the whole time? And I've got an ambulance going by? God damn it! Okay, it's gone. You were on stage the whole time? And you're sure about that? There is no question. The entire audience could testify to that fact. What's more, she's shown clearly on the TV footage as well. I couldn't possibly have killed Mr. Rias, not little old me. Therefore, there's only one person who could have killed the victim on the stage, and it was the accused. Furthermore, by using a stage lift, even a petite young lady could have raised the body up to the stage without difficulty. You gotta be kidding me! Very well, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Yay! Made it to Bonnie DeFam's cross-examination. And don't think it's lost on me that I made that little thing about the cane thing, because it's important. But we'll figure out why in the next episode. Hooray!